Okay, so this is our compost heap that has been neglected, but we are currently in the process of upgrading it to make it free drainage, good aeration. You can see at the moment we've got corrugated iron separating the three piles. We're going to have to drill holes or replace them with pallets because they're not really flowing through with the aeration. You know, there's not enough gaps in there. So our piles are kind of reversed at the moment. So the first one's empty, so that'll be, we're going to transfer all this junk on top, all these ingredients, the nitrogen carbon mix, and put it into the first one. And that'll be our starter pile number 1, and then pile number 2 will be decomposing compost, which is actually looking nicer than the third pile, which is actually the pile that should be ready to go, but you can see it's got quite a bit of ingredients still there, that you can see the leaves and some sticks. So that's actually more like a second pile where it's decomposing as well. So we've kind of got 2 piles going. So that's what we're doing at the moment. We're in the process of sort of just categorizing them a bit better. And down here, this is the first pile. We've just removed some tiles. So these are the tiles that are actually on the ground. This is just junk in the yard, you know, that I'm sure we'll find some other purpose for. But they were on the ground down here, and we've just removed them to give good drainage in the first pile. You can see it's quite good soil. There's no major trees with any roots for the nutrients to escape from the compost. So we're just sort of poking the ground a bit to give some aeration into the ground. And what we're going to do now is probably start that as our first composting pile. So we'll transfer a lot of this carbon and nitrogen mix. You can see the green lawn cuttings, that's carbon. Some weeds, carbon again. And there's a fair few brown ingredients, which is the nitrogen, like sticks and leaves. Might add some newspaper though as well, just to give a bit more of a balance. And we're going to pop that into the first pile. So that's it at the moment. I've just gotten my fork and I've given this a really good turn. It's super dry. You can see it's actually pretty dry. So we're going to have to get some really good soaking of water in there. And we've got some off-cut carpet which we're going to cut up and put on top to keep the heat in. And hopefully we'll get some steam happening. So you can see we've got some sticks on here, some carbon, bit of moss. I mean, moss is carbon, brown stuff's the nitrogen. We've actually got 2 really cranking compost piles. The second one, which is supposed to be the one that's decomposing, is way better than the third one, which is too dry and you can still see a lot of the ingredients. So I thought I might put some organic compost in there, or even transfer some of this stuff onto there to give it a bit of a boost. So we've got our 3 setups now, and I'm about to find some newspaper and put some on there, and we've got so many weeds, so many leaves. I'm going to put them on top. So this is our first pile with lots of nitrogen carbon mix, a little bit of soil at the bottom, and you can see it's got some bottle brush in there too. So this here is going to be the starter pile, and this one here is the really good decomposing pile, and this one here shall be the finished product in a couple of weeks, because we're going to add lots of water because it's very dry, and hopefully we won't be able to see or recognise any of those ingredients, which are the leaves and a few sticks. And there you have it, 3 piles. So we're just going to cut up some carpet and we're going to add it on top and create some of that natural heat. So here I am in the process of watering the compost piles that were completely dry. and kind of soak them through. Try and get that water right into the bottom, even maybe turning them again. Okay, so this is our massive roll of carpet. We are currently cutting it into about 1 metre square, and we're doing 3 of them to put onto one of each pile. It's a massive roll of carpet that we've had just laying around for years. We actually had it out the back originally for the kids, but don't need it anymore, so we'll use it for compost. Okay, carpet number 1 laying on top, doing its thing. Hopefully that'll keep the heat in and it'll decompose a lot quicker. You can see we actually get a lot of our ingredients for the compost just in the backyard here. We have leaves that drop daily and we end up having to rake it. I mean, the ground acts like a compost in itself, because, you know, over winter time it gets really moist and it just gradually composts into the ground. So we have really nice soil here, but I use a lot of those leaves to put on the compost. And any weeds like that grass around the tree, weeds here, that can all get chucked in the compost. And any prunings, so when we're going to prune any trees that we might have, we obviously try and break that down with the axe and chuck that into the first pile. So we've got a massive amount of leftovers that we're not going to be able to use that. We're going to take that to the tip because we've just got excess amount of stuff. And that's that. There we go. Compost heap. We're going to put the carpet on the other 2 compost piles and should be good to go.